All right, welcome to Hammer and Cash. This is one where we dive a little bit more into specifically how to do some things. So, some of you may have seen on the Hack Hour podcast, I did an episode about Remodeler AI, right? And how remodelers can start using some simple AI tools to help their business. Now, here I'll dive into a little bit more specifically for those of you that are looking to grow that business, right? You want to get either to a million or you're at a million, you want to start getting larger, maybe 3 million, 5 million. You can use AI as a tool. AI is in the situation that I'm talking about. It's not going to be the end all be all. It's not going to do everything for you. It's just going to help enhance, right? So, this is how your sales people can use it really well, in my opinion. So, let's say that you have a new appointment. All right. So I'm going to put some context in here. I am a salesperson for a 2 million a year remodeler in Virginia Beach, Virginia. All right. Our ideal client is 55 years old, earns 150K a year, values craftsmanship and professionalism over cheap. They are looking for ideas for a new modern style master bath for their 1950s Cape Cod style home. We are going to be building an addition on the back for this new master suite. All right, please help me come up with some great NLP style questions to dive deeper and get a good understanding of the client's real reason for this remodel. Boom. Right? So I pop all that in there. And now let's see what we get back. It's thinking. All right. So NLP stands for Neuro-Linguistic Programming. And the reason we use these style questions is we don't want to just know that a client wants an addition. That's what most remodelers go, great, let's build the addition. No, the expert, the higher end guy, the one who's more successful, you get there by learning how to connect better with your clients by diving deeper, right? And understanding why do they want it and making that connection. That is how you win a lot of these clients and really grow the business. So it's going to talk to you about identity and future pacing questions, right? And what these do is they help uncover how the client sees themselves and what they're truly after, right? So you ask them, like, what does having a brand new master suite mean to you at this stage in your life? When this project is finished, how do you see yourself using the space on a typical morning, right? If we could wave a magic wand and create the perfect retreat for you, what would be the top 3 feelings that you want to experience every time you walk in? And what would having this space say about who you are or the lifestyle you've worked so hard to create? Now, some of you, especially the female sales people, this is no big deal for you. You do this all day long, and it's one of the reasons why you're one of the fastest growing and successful segments in remodeling sales right now, is because you understand intuitively how to connect with people. Because most of you as a young child, you were taught to be connected to your emotions, and that's awesome. This is where a lot of guys struggle. Guys don't even want to ever ask these questions or think about it. But those of you that do, you will find that you really are going to connect to your clients in a way that you've never experienced before. And the sale just becomes so much easier. All right. Trust me on this. I am speaking. I have learned this firsthand, and it is something that I wish I would have known from day one. Now, some other things we want to talk about with the client are some value-based questions. And we do this because we're trying to anchor in what our company is great at, our craftsmanship and professionalism. Because remember, if we can't show what our value is, another contractor who does show their value, i.e. that they can be cheaper, if we can't connect with the client, then the clients may not see our value, and they're going to think an apple's an apple. I'll go with that apple because it costs less, right? So that's why you want to do what I call these value-based questions. You want to anchor your what is great about you in, so that you don't have to be competing on price. So we would ask them, when you think of a remodel that's done right, what comes to mind? What have you seen or experienced before that made you say, now that's quality, right? We ask these open-ended questions. How important is it for you to have confidence, not just in the end result, but in the entire process from start to finish? Have the client think all this through. They might not have even had the conversation in their own mind yet. They're not even aware of it, but you're bringing it up now and putting it out in the open. All right. You're also going to ask them, what have you seen other people do that you want to make sure you avoid in this process? This can be key, because hopefully it gives us some insight that they are aware that going cheaper and shopping on price is not the way to go in doing better, bigger remodeling style projects. Okay. If you've never asked these questions before, I do appreciate and understand how there'll be some discomfort the first time you do it. And understand that the first couple times that you start asking these style questions, you may not have a ton of success, because the client may pick up on how uncomfortable you are, how nervous you are, or how you're doubting the process. And that is a confused message that they will pick up on over time. As you become more comfortable and confident, the client will be much more relaxed and at ease, and will just start sharing all this information with you, and it is invaluable. So here's another set of questions to be thinking about. Contrast and pain-based questions. You want to identify your client's current frustrations. So you ask, look, we already know most likely what's not working. The shit's too small, right? The room is not big enough. But we want the client to expand on it and experience the issue in a larger sense. So you ask the question anyway. Hey, Mr. and Mrs. Smith, please share with me what's not working in your current bedroom, bathroom setup that has prompted this whole situation. How come I'm out here today? Boom. Let them answer, right? Mr. and Mrs. Smith, is there something in the existing home that feels outdated, no longer fits the way you want to live? Look, these seem like simple questions, and you're like, it's obvious, but you never know what the client's going to say, right? And then you're asking, have you looked at master suites in other homes or magazines and thought, why don't we have that yet? What stood out to you? Most people will start sharing things like, well, yeah, we toured the new home development around the corner, And I look at those master bedrooms and how they have these nice walk-in closets and the bathrooms with the double vanity sinks. Like, that's what we want. We want a changing area, or we want this area, and we can't accommodate. That's why we want this addition on the back of the house. Also, you want to talk to them about some sensory and experienced focused questions, right? This is where some of that neuro-linguistic stuff comes in. So listen, Mr. and Miss Smith, when you imagine walking into this new master suite, tell me, what do you see? What is it that you hear? Is there anything that you feel that lets you know that it's perfect? And this is the cues. Like, whatever they say, you write down and say, perfect. This is what I need to nail to land this job. And at the end, if I can create that experience for the homeowner, then we're going to get all the amazing referrals, right? Ask them questions like, do you picture natural light flooding into the space, or is it a more serene, right, spa setting? Are we going to be putting in like skylights, Velux sun tunnels? I don't know what we're going to be doing. You got to find out from the client, right? How important is soundproofing, right? Do they want it super quiet? Do they not want to hear anything? Or if you have a mother with some young kids, she might go, I want to hear the kids yelling out in the backyard. I want to know if my daughter's not being able to sleep through the night. So they, right? Like, you could be sitting there talking about how great soundproofing is, and the client doesn't want soundproofing. You ask these questions so that the client tells you what they're looking for. All right. We're also going to do some timeline and motivation-based question, right? Find out why now. What made this the right time to move forward with the addition? You might hear that they just inherited some money. Somebody just got promoted or got a bonus at work, so now they have they're flush with cash. So now's the time. Strike while the iron's hot. Maybe they just got to a point in their life where they realize they're done struggling with their house and they want it, they're ready to live differently. I don't know. Maybe their in-laws are going to be moving in with them and somebody else is going to be helping pay the mortgage. So they need to build this addition and it has to be done in 6 months. Who knows? You just ask the questions. Ask them, what would it mean for you to have this space completed by this specific time? Say maybe a birthday, a family retirement, or a visit, right? Start trying to understand their timeline and see if that timeline works for you, and understand how important the timeline is or is not. Find out, how long have you been thinking about this project? I can tell you that many of our clients, especially if they're in the 60-ish range, some of them have been planning this for 20 years. So that's a good client, someone who has been wanting and desiring. It's not something that they didn't watch HGTV over the weekend and say, you know what, let's get some estimates on what it would cost to do such and such. No, if they've been planning it for 20 years, they are serious. They are invested, and they're going to want to make sure it's done well and it's done exactly the way they want and it's done right. So this can be a good way for you to use something like a ChatGPT or Grok, right, to help with your sales ability. Now, let's look at another scenario. Let's go over to Grok and let's imagine that we just had a client call in to the office and they are upset that the guys parked on their lawn and left some food and trash out back where we are building their new sunroom edition. This client is very particular about the way they keep their house, and this is a big deal to them. please help me understand a good way to communicate with them where I acknowledge that we made a mistake, that it is unacceptable, and we will correct it immediately and appreciate them letting us know that this happened and that they are frustrated, and we look forward to moving forward as with better results, right? And so this client is a doctor. She works long hours in the ER. She expects perfection and hard work from everyone, right? She has very high standards. How can I relate and help de-escalate the tension and frustration? Maybe use some NLP style communication skills. Please help create a script or guideline and instructions how I should proceed. I am the owner of the remodeling company. Boom. We send that in. All right. And Grok's pretty quick. So let's just see if this is what we want, right? So it's saying, hey, handling a situation like this with a high expectation client, especially a detail-oriented ER doctor who provides, she values perfection and hard work, requires empathy, accountability, and a calm, solution-focused approach. See, she's likely stressed out from long hours and holds others to the same rigorous standards as she applies to herself. So our communication should mirror her values, hard work, precision, while we de-escalate her frustration. So we want to incorporate some NLP style techniques like pacing and leading, and we want to match her emotional state and guide her to a calmer resolution that can help build rapport and restore trust. So here's a script that us as the owner can use in a phone call or the face-to-face, right? It acknowledges the mistake, it validates her feeling and aligns with her values and reassures her with some immediate action. So they've woven in some subtle NLP elements, mirroring standards, right? Future patient, de-escalation. All right. So it gives us some guidelines here. We're going to start with empathy. So we're going to match her emotional state by acknowledging the seriousness and the issue and her frustration. This shows you get her perspective. Now, let's imagine this. Some of you are like, it's no big deal. Like, my guys do this all the time. What's the issue? The issue is this lady has higher standards and she's frustrated. And if you want a great client and you want good referrals, you acknowledge that and work with her, okay? And this is how you help show that you get her perspective. You can see it the way she sees it. You're not making her wrong. You're not trying to say that your way is right and she's crazy. No, you're like, you know what? I get it. I can understand why she's frustrated. And again, I don't have to be like her, but I can understand why she is like the way she is. Now, This is the most important part here is you take full accountability. You don't blame it. You don't, right? You don't avoid excuses. You just own the mistake outright. And this way, I'm telling you, this cuts the tension immediately when you own it. And you're like, yes, you are correct. We messed up. All right. Then to help this situation, you're going to offer some immediate solution. It doesn't have to be the exact right thing in the moment. It's just that you're putting out something, and this helps transition the client's frustrated. So it helps transition their focus from the problem to let's come up with a good resolution. What is amazing is sometimes what you think needs to be the resolution, like we have to do this, we're going to do that. Often, just by you acknowledging things, calms the client down to they say, hey, I get it. Things happen. Thanks for hearing me out. And you might be shocked at how you don't have to do much more. I'm not saying that's always the case, but it can be. So you also want to mirror her values. You use language that resonates with her identity as a perfectionist and hard worker, right? Things like precision, commitment, all right? These are all things that you'll get comfortable with as you use them over time. There's what's also called, you're going to do is positive future pacing. So you're going to end your conversation because you're going to, by painting the picture, you're putting out into the future how it's going to look so she can see that it's all going to be okay. This is where you show that there's going to be a smooth, successful project moving forward. And you're going to help ease her mindset so that she can have confidence in you guys that you know what you're doing and you're not going to keep screwing it up. Your tone is very important. This is where it's key that you stay calm, that you're steady and you're professional. And this helps mimic the control that she likely utilizes herself, right? The better that you know your clients, the better that you're going to be able to respond to them. So here's a potential opening. Hey, Dr. So-and-so, thank you so much for reaching out and letting us know about this situation. I can understand why you're upset, right? Having the crew park on your lawn and leave food and trash behind, it's frustrating, especially when you work hard to keep your home in that pristine condition. I am truly sorry that this has happened. I appreciate you taking the time with everything else that you're juggling in the ER to bring this to my attention, right? This is like kindergarten Mickey Mouse crap that we should have never done, right? So now you shift over to the accountability. So as the owner, I want you to know, look, this is not acceptable on our end. We dropped the ball here. It's not the standard that we set for ourselves, and it's not what you deserve. Your home and trust mean a lot to us on this project, and we haven't lived up to that currently today. So now you shift the focus, right? So we move to the solution. Here's what we're doing right now. I've already spoken to the crew lead, my project manager, lead carpenter, whatever you refer to them. They're heading back out this afternoon. They're going to clean that all up. Every bit of trash. They're going to fix the lawn. I'm personally overseeing this to ensure it's handled with the precision you expect and that I demand for my team. Going forward, we're putting in strict protocols. There's no more parking on the property, right? Unless it's in the driveway, out on the street, nothing on the lawn, unless you tell us otherwise, right? And we're going to do some site checks to make sure that we're sticking with us. No more trash is going to be left behind. The guys are going to be removing all food and trash daily. Okay, listen. So now we get into what they call the validation report. And this is good. I know that you handle everyone to the same high standards that you bring to your work, maybe in the ER, saving lives, managing chaos, getting every detail right on the project. And that's the level of commitment I want to bring to you and this sunroom edition. We're grateful that you flagged this because it helps sharpen our focus and deliver the perfection that you're counting on. So now we shift to a positive close, right? And we're future pacing. All right. Looking ahead, I'm confident you're going to see the results you envisioned. We're going to have that sunroom for you that's flawless, that we've built with care, and it's worthy of your home. I'm going to keep you updated on the cleanup today and check in personally as we move forward. Does this sound good to you? And if there's anything else on your mind, could you share it now, right? I'm here to help make this right. Now, this may be different than the way you're communicating, and it may seem strange, and that's usually the case when something is different or new. Again, I've had my fair share and still do. You have people that get frustrated. We do things that frustrate someone else. Now, it doesn't always mean that they're right and we're wrong. It just means that we've done something, and in the other person's mind, that's not the way it was supposed to be done, and they are now frustrated. You see this in politics, especially right now. Doesn't mean that one's right or wrong. And sometimes the person that's right is really making the other person upset because that person's wrong. So follow me here. The key is that if it's your client and they're upset, or if it's an employee who comes to you and they're upset, you first just want to understand their perspective and where they're coming from, and say to yourself, I probably would be doing the same thing. I can understand why they feel this way. I would probably be feeling that way if it were me. Now, it doesn't mean that we agree 100%. It's just that we can see how they feel that way. And then we can move with them and work with them to come up with a solution. We can acknowledge what we have, own what we've done wrong, right? And I have found from personal experience that this alters the game and helps build long-lasting relationships with clients going forward. So hopefully you found something here valuable. I know it's a deeper dive. We've really kind of gotten into the weeds. It might be more than some of you are interested in. But for those of you that want to have better connections and really work through issues and become a much better, stronger communicator, this is one way that you can go about doing it. You can get trained outside on like learning NLP skills, and if that's something that interests you, let me know. I'm certified and trained in Neuro-Linguistic Programming. I can help you navigate that world. It really opens up a whole new set of communication and listening skills. So if nothing else though, you can at least use something like Grok or ChatGPT, some sort of AI, to help get you a base and a footing in this world so that you communicate better going forward. So again, thanks for being here, and wish you guys all the best. Take care.